Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Broken Berean. And if you are a PlayStation owner, you know exactly where I'm about to go. And that is that for the past 24 hours, the PlayStation Network has been down. So if you've got your game needs communication, online live service, all of it's down. In addition, access to some library games were unavailable, even if they were standalone single player games. And even some people reporting that the disk drive was not getting up updating and connecting with the PlayStation Network on their PS5s, that even their physical copies weren't working on their PlayStation. This is terrible. This is one of those reasons I was warned about when I started gaming a couple of years ago, getting back into it. And people are like, oh, yeah, you got to sign up for this account, this account, this account. And my first thought was, this sounds stupid. I've got to sign up for an account. Okay. Uh, to play a game. Well, when it comes to live service and, you're doing cross play, yeah, that makes sense. But if I had to, if I had to pop in Breath of the Wild in my Switch, and the only way I could play that if I logged into the Nintendo Network to play it, that's terrible. And I saw this notice come up last night as I was wonderfully having a blast playing Trials of Mana on my PC, streaming it live, no issues whatsoever. Now, here's the thing. PlayStation's got to start walking some of this stuff back. Xbox has got to do it. BattleNet and some other companies have got to start doing this because it bricked the console, and it's why everyone now needs physical media. We got to get back to that because these outages. Oh, when I first saw it, I was like, "Oh, player!" I saw it on my phone when I was playing, and I was taking a break and just taking a walk, and I was like, "Okay." I was like, "Oh, that stinks," but I was like, it was early Friday evening, and I was like, "I'll probably be back up in an hour or two. It's Friday. I mean, you can't have PlayStation down on a Friday, right?" Yeah. So I was like, it'll be fine. And no, it's been 24 hours, and this is just one of those things. You want all they want all this so they can collect information and sell information about demographics and things like that to other companies and advertising and all this other fun stuff. Yeah, that they make money off of. They make more money off of that than they actually do the game, which is ridiculous. But that being said, Sony screwed up. I don't know what happened. I've been reading articles for the last couple hours trying to figure out any announcements, anything, watching Twitter, checking Reddit, checking all this stuff, trying to figure out what happened. Because as an IT person, I'm like, this isn't just something, oh, they lost connection. Like, the servers are down and they're not giving information. And of course they would. You don't want to be like, yeah, we screwed up. It's down. What's down? We're working on it. You know, dealing with service providers for 3 decades now. It's, yeah, we're working on it. Yeah, good. A little more info? No, that's it. You know, and if they can pass the buck, they will give you information like, oh, service is down. Why is service down? Oh, construction crew cut through a line on I-35 and I-20. Oh, okay. Wait, do those actually? Oh, those do intersect. Okay. And, things like that. It's like, yeah, if they can pass the buck, they'll give you information. But if it's all internal, we're not going to get a word of what really happened. Well, we'll get some vague thing. So we'll never know what really happened. But people couldn't just log on and play their game. You couldn't log on and play Astrobot. You couldn't access your digital library. This is just a call and a reminder. You got to get physical when you can, because yes. And if you have to have internet access to play your standalone single player game, it's time to find a different game. I mean, granted, my game Trials of Mana is a digital copy on my PC through Steam, but I didn't need internet access. I could have unplugged my computer, not streamed, and played for the 9 hours I did last night no problem whatsoever. But the fact is, I couldn't get updates if there were updates, but that wasn't going to hinder anything for a game that's been out this long. And I'm not doing any contacting anybody else and playing against anybody else. It's just me in the game. And that's why these accounts things, you got to take a step back, because I think so many studios are pushing for live service stuff now. We want this. It's more profitable. More people keep playing, buying booster packs, and we can make more money this way. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, but if this keeps happening, they're out. Because how many games, live service games that are purchased on PlayStation, lost out on money because PlayStation was down? Games that PlayStation doesn't own. So an outage like this, like a temporary outage, okay, there was something that happened. 24 hours, I fully expect to see some of these game studios filing loss of revenue lawsuits to Sony because of this. Because they have live service games that people purchased through or downloaded through the PlayStation, and they couldn't get access to them because the PlayStation Network was down. Not because their game uses the PlayStation Network at all. The game is downloaded to the console and it connects to their game servers, but because the PlayStation Network was down, they couldn't connect to the game studio's servers. And that's going to be a big problem. So this might not just be like, oh, this is a bad thing for Sony and a reminder for all of us to buy physical, but it could cost Sony way more than they ever experienced, because these game studios can sue them for loss of revenue, and they may never ever make it through court or not. But the perception that the PlayStation Network isn't secure, isn't stable, will mean fewer developers will develop their games to be PlayStation compatible. So exclusive games are slowly dwindling on the PlayStation. We saw Square Enix leave this past year, and more are probably going to do that. And more players will be like, fine, if you're going to do that, we're going to send it to Steam, GOG, Nintendo, Xbox, whatever. But we're not making one that's PlayStation compatible, because we're going to put the time and resources into it, and our customers won't be able to connect and purchase products through our system. Big problems. So a 24-hour outage is a big deal. It may not seem like it right now, but it could be a big deal for Sony in the long run. Is this guaranteed? Absolutely not. I'm just spitting and just imagining what the consequences of this could be. And this is my conclusion is, yeah, this could be a big problem for not just Sony. It was a big problem for other game studios that their customers couldn't access their stuff through their PlayStation, but anybody else could. If you had an Xbox last night, you were fine. If you're on a PC last night, you were fine. You're on Nintendo last night, you're fine. You're on Steam Deck, you're fine. You're on PlayStation. And I mean, seriously, coming home, honestly, on a Friday afternoon and a Friday evening, I mean, I made my cup of coffee, sat down, and I had a blast playing Trials of Mana for 9 hours straight, and chatting with my son and other people that came in. I had a great time. And it was something I needed to decompress from this week. And if I couldn't, I don't know. I probably would have made another poor choice like, oh, I don't know, sleep the night away and sleep the evening away, or just feel absolutely depressed. It was something that just made me feel good. It was an uplifting thing. And PlayStation, you messed up. Sony, you messed up. And you better figure it out. You better put in more redundancies. Whatever your redundancies are now were not sufficient, which means to me, something down for 24 hours in the IT related world means catastrophic. I've gotten full companies restored in 10 hours from tape backups, not digital, not cloud, tape. And if anybody has done full backups from a to a tape drive, you know that is a long and arduous process. The longest it ever took me to bring up 6 servers from tape backups was 10 hours. 10. 10. You couldn't get up the basic framework in under 24. Something serious happened, and you're going to have to figure that out and address it immediately. And I mean, not next quarter, not next year, next week. If this happens again, as some people are starting to come back up now, it's been 24 hours or some stuff are starting to come back up. 24 hours is unacceptable in the IT world. I mean, outages no, you have to have redundancy. This is a worldwide thing. How do they not have failover servers, failover clusters? You got to have failover virtual clusters, failover servers. And I mean, seriously, I've done that for companies that had less than 100 employees that all worked remotely and never ran into this problem. I don't know what your problem was, Sony, but you messed up bad. And I think this is going to cost Sony way more dearly than they think. It's going to lose customer trust. It's going to lose developer trust. It's going to lose a lot because an outage this big, even though you're like, oh, it's just a day in microtransactions in the gaming world is a heck of a lot of money. A heck of a lot of money. I mean, what was it? That Pokemon trading card game? I mean, it's averaging around 2-3 million a day in microtransactions. Just lost the company $3 million. They're not going to be happy. They're not. I mean, that's what I'm saying. This is the impact that just this small outage of 24 hours has caused. And it's not fully up yet. So we'll have to see what the fallout is next week. I just want to keep you apprised that things are starting to come back up. And Sony's going to be hurting from this terrible, terrible, catastrophic, who knows what. So power on those PCs, my friends. Boot up those switches. Power on that Xbox. And I'll see you online tonight. Until next time, my friends, as always, I love you all, and there's nothing you can do about it.